welcome back to my channel. Today I have a very exciting video, you guys. I am here with my very first tag. I created this tag first, or flanker, because you guys, so many of us wonder countless times whether to buy the original that fragrance houses come out with or one of the flankers that they create subsequently. So many designer and niche fragrance houses, they come up with a fragrance and then, you know, it's popular, and then they come up with different types of flankers to that original fragrance, the first one, right? So I do a lot of research to try to decide whether I want to buy the first, the original, or one of the flankers, you guys, because it's a hard decision to make, because you don't want to buy like everything, you know what I mean? No, none of us want to have, like, you know, the first one and all the flankers that come out, although there have been a few occasions where I decided to buy the first and all of the flankers, but that's very rare. Most of us, we want to know, okay, so they're all gonna have pretty much the same DNA usually. You know, the first one's DNA, the subsequent flankers tend to have some of the DNA of the first one. So, you know, a lot of us wonder, well, will I like the first that they come out with or one of the subsequent flankers, right? So that's a decision that a lot of us struggle with. And I know that I've been in that boat so many times trying to decide, wow, so do I buy this or, you know, one of these 2 or 3 flankers, because they all sound good, but one of them's got to be better than the others, right? And usually that's the case. One tends to be better than the others, or 2 tend to be better than the others. So it's really a difficult decision, and I thought I would create this new tag and also make this into a series where I do this over and over again with, of course, different perfumes to help you guys out in deciding whether to get the original, the first, or one of the flankers. I would have appreciated if, you know, this kind of video existed when I so many times struggled with deciding whether I wanted to buy the first or one of the flankers. So you guys, if you want to see what perfumes I have to compare today, whether the first one or flankers turn out to be better, please keep watching. So you guys, I did my due diligence and I did a lot of research, and I did not see any creators who has done this tag before, this type of tag, whether it's called this particular name I gave it or anything else. And I'm going to tag some of my favorite creators here on YouTube down below in the description box. I hope they all do this tag, which is a very fun tag. So let's get to this epic battle of the firsts and the flankers and see which ones win. So you guys, first I have 2 fragrances that are very, very popular. They're very well known in the fragrance community. And I know from the comments on my videos where I featured these 2 that a lot of you struggle with deciding whether to get the first one or the flanker. So I thought these 2 would be a good place to start. So I have here, you guys, Kilian Love Don't Be Shy and Kilian Love Extreme. So this one was the original, you guys, and this here is the flanker. And oh my gosh, do people debate about which one is better? So let me sniff the first, the Love Don't Be Shy, the original. This is a beautiful orange blossom honeysuckle marshmallow fragrance. This is a super sweet fragrance, you guys. There's literally sugar, a note of sugar in this fragrance. There's caramel. And then there are other white florals like jasmine in here. There's a little bit of rose. There's a huge dose of vanilla adding to that sweetness. And in there are notes like civet, labdanum, musk, which all add to the edginess of this fragrance. I believe there's like bergamot and pink pepper in the opening also. I'm not gonna go into all of the notes, but you get the idea. This is a very sweet, marshmallowy, honeysuckle type fragrance. There's that sugar note adding a big dose of sweetness to this fragrance. To be honest, this can be a little bit too sweet sometimes to me. I have to be sort of like in the mood to wear this because it can be super sweet, like you could get a, you know, toothache from it. It's that sweet. So now I'm going to sniff the flanker, which is Love Extreme. Ah, you guys, this one. There's something about this fragrance that stands out. It has a layer that's more than the original, the first. There is an additional third layer to this fragrance. There's a level of sophistication to this fragrance, and I will tell you where that comes from. I know this is called Love Extreme, but that doesn't imply that this is the Intense version or the Extrait de Parfum version. Then that's the Eau de Parfum. No, that's not what it means. Love Extreme is just a name they use because there's something that I think they were hinting to, that third layer that I'm talking about right now, which comes from the heightened rose note in this fragrance, you guys. So the star in this fragrance is really the rose, whereas the star in this one is the orange blossom, the honeysuckle, the marshmallow. And yes, you can smell those notes in here as well, which by the way, this also has neroli and orange blossom. This one also has marshmallow, vanilla, musk, all that. However, this one has a rose note in the middle that's a little bit heightened, a little bit elevated. And I feel like that beautiful rose mixed in with those sweet notes like marshmallow and vanilla and the, you know, the beautiful white floral notes like orange blossom elevated this fragrance. That's really the only way to put it. Something about this fragrance is a little bit more, it resonates more with you than that one. This is more, I guess, memorable. Is that a way to put it? And I feel like this is a little bit more sophisticated, slightly more sophisticated than the original. This one really screams refinement to me, and it is sweet, but not as sweet as that one. This one is, to me, I feel like, you know, a good amount of sweetness. That sweetness is moderated by that beautiful rose, you guys. Oh, so good. I really love this fragrance. Obviously in this case I'm going with the flanker, you guys. This is definitely the hands down winner when you compare these two. So in this case the obvious winner is Kilian Love Extreme. So next I have two very sexy fragrances, you guys. Of course, the first and the flanker. I love and adore both of them. Let me start by saying that. But if I had to pick one, if you forced my hand, or if I only had money to buy one of them, which one will I buy? Well, that's a good question. This one is a tough one, you guys, because they are both almost shoulder to shoulder, really good fragrances. They are both very sexy. These are fragrances that you can wear on a date, on a first date. You will leave a lasting impression. They are so feminine, so sexy. This is none other than Elie Saab, Girl of Now, and Girl of Now Shine. These are so sexy. This fragrance, you guys, this one is a knockout. My husband just loves this fragrance on me, you guys. He thinks it's super sexy, and it's one of the most sexy fragrances I've ever got my nose on. Yes, including those almost 300 perfumes I have up there, most of them being like niche, expensive fragrances. This is still one of the sexiest in my collection, believe it or not. And I talked about this in my man killer video. I will link that up here and down in the description box as well. Oh, you guys, this one is just like a dumb reach for me. You know, if I want to feel sexy or smell sexy, I have something, you know, like a sexy date or something with my husband, this is a dumb reach, very easy to grab. If I don't want to take the time to decide which perfume I want to wear on a hot date, I go for this, you guys. This is so beautiful. You guys, this fragrance has that gorgeous pistachio note, and there's almond in here, which I think those two nutty notes really make this very special. Adds to that sexiness, if you ask me, with those beautiful white florals in this fragrance like magnolia and orange blossom. They work really super well. And then there's that delicious tonka bean in the base with the cashmere and patchouli, and the almond you find in two layers. There's the almond in the middle and in the base. I think it's one of the most successfully done fragrance compositions, you guys. I really think this is a very sexy fragrance. So let's now compare her to her sister, the flanker. This is Ellie Saab, A Girl of Now Shine. You guys, this one, also beautiful, also sexy, super stunning. They're both stunning. Like I said, this one was such a close one, you guys, like by a hair. The difference is a hair, you know. It was really hard. Like if I really had to, if somebody held a gun to my head and asked me to pick one, I would pick one of them, because that's why I have both of them, you guys. I mean, I think they're both very, very beautiful. But if someone twisted my arm, which one would I pick? So that's the question. So this one, you guys, also has the pistachio and the almond, but almond is only in the middle in this one. And then there is that added pineapple and ylang ylang. So that's really the difference. So in the opening, you get the pineapple note with the other notes that you heard the original, the first has. And then in addition, you get a pineapple note in this one. And then you have ylang ylang in the middle with the white florals that the first has. So now this one took me by surprise, you guys, because I'm someone who leans very much towards tropical fragrance notes like pineapple, mango. I love those notes. And tropical floral notes like ylang ylang. Yes, baby, give it to me. You know how much I love frangipani, ylang ylang. Those beautiful tropical yellow florals, I love them, you guys. So yeah, this has added pineapple, and then there's added ylang ylang. This still has pistachio, but not as prominent in here. And then there's almond too, but more like in the background, like on only in the middle. It's not in both middle and the base like the first one. Again, like I said, this surprised me, you guys. I tend to love notes like pineapple, ylang ylang, as you guys know. However, in this case, I picked the classic, the first, you guys, because you guys, I feel those beautiful white florals in the original, the magnolia and the orange blossom, work so well with the nutty notes in the original, you guys. It creates this intoxicating, you know, scent. And yeah, they're both beautiful. This has a little hint of nuttiness as well, but in this one, that heightened almond note really does good with those beautiful white floral notes. I feel like it's a beautiful, they're married really well in this together. And oh my gosh, you know, it just, the almond, you guys, the almond in here, the heightened almond with the white florals really is intoxicating in my opinion. And somehow this won my heart over this one, but it's only by a hair. Both of them so beautiful. I would say this one you can even wear in the summertime for a nighttime date, and so you can wear this in the summer too if you want nighttime, but this is more suitable for the colder months. So if you want something, let's say for the summertime, go for this one, but this is the more beautiful one, you guys. I really think this is something very special, very unique, very different. So in this case, I pick the first. So next I have three fragrances that I love and adore. So you guys, they are Parfums de Marly Delina, Parfums de Marly Delina Exclusif, and Parfums de Marly Delina La Rosee. These are such pretty, you know, fragrances, and I'm so glad they came out with two flankers. I do love both of them, the flankers. I mean, I love the original as well. Again, I love these fragrances, you guys. You know, I must point out, all of these first and flankers, obviously I have them all because I like them all. But the point of the video is, if you guys out there only want to buy one of them or have the budget to buy only one of them, or if you're, you know, really had to pick one, which one would I recommend? So that's the point of the video. Actually, you guys, when the Delina La Rosee came out, I did a review, a dedicated review of it. I will link it up here and down in the description box. And in that video, I did a little bit of comparing of the three fragrances, but that's just something I did in the review of Delina La Rosee, and I want to do a little bit more in-depth comparison in this video for you guys. So let me talk about the original, the first. So this is, of course, Delina, the original. You guys know this fragrance is known for the rhubarb note in the opening, which adds a little bit of a sour touch to this fragrance. I always say that it kind of cuts through the sweet and the rose in this fragrance, kind of help sort of balance out the sweet side of this fragrance. And this has that beautiful lychee note in the opening, you guys. Lychee was a critical note for this fragrance to smell the way it is and to be this popular, really. Lychee is a really beautiful fruity note. This has lychee, rhubarb, bergamot, nutmeg, I think, in the opening. And in the middle, you get that beautiful Turkish rose, which all of the Delinas have, all three of them. The Patalia and peony in this fragrance in the middle really complement the rose note in here. And there's that beautiful musk and vanilla, which I think was very important to have to heighten that sweet part of this fragrance. And then there's of course that, you know, nice beautiful incense note. There's the cedar, there's vetiver. Again, this is a gorgeous perfume, you guys, but I will say the one problem with this fragrance can be that rhubarb note, because not everyone likes it. It tends to give some people a headache. That's something you need to keep in mind with this fragrance. This is very beautiful, very pretty, please don't get me wrong. Very original if you ask me. That rhubarb note with the Turkish rose and those notes, very original. I love the perfumer of this fragrance. Now I pick up one of the flankers. This is Delina Exclusif. You guys, this has most of the notes from the original. This has the lychee, beautiful lychee note. There's incense. There's of course the Turkish rose in here. There's vanilla, of course, in this fragrance, which I think is a must. Yeah, so they share some of the fragrance notes, but there's no Patalia, peony in this one. And also the incense in this one is in the middle, which is a little bit more heightened than the first, the Delina. And you guys, this one has oud. So the added oud in here is really gorgeous, which makes this one a little bit more oriental. There's that amber, the added amber note, which I think is very beautiful in this fragrance. And then this of course has other woody notes and stuff as well. So I'm gonna put that down for a second. Now we're gonna talk about Delina La Rosee, which is one of the flankers. This one, you guys, screams summer. This is a very light aquatic version of the other two. This one is very light, very aquatic. I mean, there's literally watery notes in this fragrance. I would not say this is a watered down version of the other two at all. People tend to misunderstand that. This is just aquatic. Anytime you add aquatic notes to fragrances, you guys, it's going to immediately lighten that fragrance up and make it a little bit more fresh, more aquatic, duh. So it then smells more appropriate for summer. This is obviously created with summer in mind, you guys. So this also shares fragrance notes with the other two. All three of them have the lychee note, which I think was critical for the DNA, you know, the Delina DNA. In another one that was critical for the Delina DNA is the Turkish rose, which all three of them have. There's peony, and then there's transparent flowers like that. And then there are watery notes in this fragrance in the middle, which really gave this an aquatic burst of freshness. And then there's musk, there's vetiver and other woody notes in here. This one is a beautiful summer essential. Honestly, you guys, it smells really good. It does last a while on me. I heard from a few people that this doesn't last very long on them. Not the case with me. Maybe not as long as Delina Exclusif or Delina maybe. What do I think now? Well, you guys, I gotta tell you, in this case, I went with one of the flankers, and you could probably guess which one. Of course, it's Delina Exclusif, you guys. Why? Because I feel like the beautiful Turkish rose in this fragrance, without that rhubarb cutting through, the sourness cutting through this fragrance, this is better. Like it smells more oriental because of the oud in there, but the oud in here is not one of those barnyard strong in your face oud. You know, it's a beautiful oud in here, a nice clean oud. And I think that oud really complements that Turkish rose. The absence of the rhubarb kind of heightened the oriental side of this fragrance, which I adore oriental fragrances, you guys. I feel like it doesn't have that sort of headachy kind of vibes like that pierces through your nose because of the rhubarb. And I think this is more of a fragrance that more people can love. And the original is, while it's beautiful and gorgeous, may not be for everyone. And then La Rosee is mainly for the summertime, you guys. And this one isn't as, again, oriental as this one. By the way, the incense in here is in the middle, which is like more heightened than the original, the first. For those reasons, I pick the flanker, one of the flankers. So I picked Delina Exclusif. Next I have first and a flanker that I just love and adore. So the original, the first, is in my basically top 10 for life, you guys. I just adore this fragrance. This is Prada La Femme and Prada La Femme Intense. I just love that frangipani note in this, you guys. How many thousand times have I spoken about that on my channel? This is such a gorgeous, very tropical, because of those, you know, yellow floral notes like ylang ylang frangipani fragrance, but at the same time it's sophisticated. Usually like tropical fragrances tend to be more casual, you know what I'm saying? Like sophisticated isn't what you think of when you think of typically a tropical fragrance, which is beautiful, but you think more of a relaxed kind of mindset. Whereas this is a very rare, beautiful tropical fragrance that is very sophisticated. But that doesn't mean you can't wear this on a vacation. This is one of those rare fragrances that can go from a casual occasion to a, you know, formal occasion. Seriously. Like during the summer, you can wear this to like a formal occasion. You can wear this to work. You can wear this on a vacation. That's how versatile this fragrance is. So like I said, you guys, there's that beautiful frangipani note, which is my favorite beautiful yellow floral note. There's ylang ylang, which is also gorgeous, very tropical. In this fragrance, there's a little bit of iris. There are white florals like tuberose and magnolia. You can smell this tuberose, but really the star in this fragrance really is frangipani, you guys. You can really smell the frangipani mixed in with that beeswax note in the base. There's of course vanilla in here, and then there's vetiver adding a little bit of a earthy touch. And there's like bergamot in the opening too, I believe, and like carrot seed or something. I think this is a very special, unique fragrance. I have not smelled anything like it that goes from casual to formal if you wanted to. Definitely a summertime fragrance, you guys. I would say daytime wear. So now we have the flanker, you guys, Prada La Femme Intense. This one has Prada La Femme DNA, however this one is different. There's something very earthy about this one. This one is more earthy. The original, the first, has a touch of earthiness from the vetiver, but it's not like a noticeable kind of earthiness. Whereas this one, the earthiness is, I think, heightened because of the patchouli, you guys. I think really the patchouli is what changed this fragrance. The patchouli is very noticeable in this one. I know that patchouli isn't everybody's cup of tea. So if you're not a fan of the patchouli note, you're not going to like this version. However, the original is very much like, there's something airy about the original. Very airy, very light. Again, the earthy accord, the patchouli accord, very prominent in this one. And yes, this one has frangipani and ylang ylang, but in this one it's they're in the opening, whereas the first, the original, has them in the middle. I think in the original, having those beautiful yellow florals in the middle make the yellow florals last longer, like stay longer during the time that the fragrance is on you. So I think the frangipani shines more, the ylang ylang shine more in the original, the first. This one, I feel like the patchouli kind of that's in the base sort of takes over, because that's what the dry down is, you know, like obviously the base notes are the dry down. So I feel like that very earthiness of the patchouli mixed in with the vetiver, this gives a more of an earthy vibe, and the earthiness lasts longer in this version, the flanker. This is actually very beautiful as well, don't get me wrong. To me, I like them both. I don't mind patchouli, and I like earthiness in fragrances depending on what it's mixed with, which I think is beautiful with the yellow florals in here and the white florals. This one also has tuberose, and there is jasmine, I think, instead of magnolia in this one. Yes, it is a beautiful fragrance. However, it's not as light and airy as the first, the original. There's something very classy about the original one. That's really the way to put it. Like, this one is versatile. Now this one, on the other hand, you can't wear this to, I don't think this is appropriate for a formal occasion. Also, not the best one for a vacation either. This one is very much one of those nighttime kind of fragrances, like during the summer, nighttime. You can wear this to maybe go out. It's more of a fragrance like that. This one, however, is very much more versatile. You can wear this all summer long to various occasions. Something very light, something very ethereal, something very classy about the first. So you guys can see where I'm going with this. Obviously, in this case, I pick the first. So next I have a no-brainer for me, you guys. I mean, I know which one I like out of these two. And I've spoken so many times in various videos, not this type of video, but other types of videos, that I preferred one type of the two I'm about to show. These perfumes are quite popular and known to be sexy. So it's the first and the flanker of Jean Paul Gaultier's Scandal, you guys. So this is Scandal, and this is Scandal by Night. Oh goodness, you guys. So let me start with the original, the first. This one is a honey bomb. This is the easiest way to put it. The original, the first, is a honey bomb. There is a huge, massive honey accord in this fragrance. Guys, a lot of people do like honey in the fragrances, but I gotta say, it depends on what it's mixed with. Sometimes honey can be really, well, to me personally anyway, a little bit too syrupy and a little annoying sometimes. But it depends, again, with what kind of fragrance composition it is. This one is beautiful. I really do think this one is a gorgeous, leaning, sexy fragrance. I mean, this has gorgeous fragrance notes, you guys. There's like blood orange, there's mandarin orange in the opening, blood orange, which is perfectly complementary to the middle and base notes. You will see what I'm talking about in a second. So this has that honey accord, and then there is jasmine, and then there is gardenia, jasmine, orange blossom in the middle with that peach note in the middle, and in the base you get beeswax. So there's honey in the middle, and then there's beeswax in the base, which makes this very like honey dominant fragrance. So that beeswax and honey accords very prominent. And then this has caramel, patchouli in the base. So yeah, it is a beautiful fragrance. The caramel adds a really nice gourmet touch to this fragrance, but it's predominantly what you smell in here is the honey. So it's like a, you can smell the citruses as well. So it's a fragrance you can wear nighttime mostly, but you could wear it daytime during colder months. But if you wear it nighttime, you could pull it off in the summer as well. But mostly this is a fragrance for more, yeah, it is beautiful. However, right here, her sister, the flanker, Scandal by Night. Oh, this one. Whoo, this one is sexy. Whoo. This one has that very sexy cherry note in here, you guys, which I think is what takes this one to another level, really, the cherry accord in here. So this also has honey, you guys, but just a very little, just in the opening. It kind of disappears after a little bit, which I think is better than the original. The original has a very heavy dose of honey, which isn't always the best, but it's still sexy. Again, don't get me wrong. Then this has that added, you know, cherry accord in the middle. I think in the opening there's like bitter orange, which is a very nice citrus, by the way, for opening. And then there are other citruses in the opening. Like in the middle here you get that cherry accord, the cherry note, and in the middle you get tuberose and orange blossom in this fragrance, you guys, which is really, really beautiful. And you know, mixed in with that tuberose, the orange blossom with the cherry, really beautiful. And then there's like Himalayan nard in here, and in the base you get a double dose of vanilla with the vanilla, and then there's tonka bean, which really takes it to like a deeper level, you know, like a deeper, sweeter fragrance. And then there's that sensual sandalwood, there's musk, there's amberwood in this one. So there are more gorgeous fragrance notes in this one, simply better fragrance notes and more of it in this one, making this the definite hands down winner. And this is a fragrance that you can wear on date night, you guys. I reserve this for colder months, so much better for colder months, and it is definitely a nighttime fragrance. Scandal by Night, the name says it. Nighttime fragrance for colder months because of that cherry note in here, in my opinion. Very much more sexy than the original, the first, if you ask me. In this case, hands down, this one's the winner. This is Scandal by Night, Jean Paul Gaultier. So next I have two very beautiful, sexy fragrances, you guys. These two are some of my most sexy fragrances in my collection. Again, these two just happen to be designer fragrances, you guys. I feel like designer fragrances sometimes give niche ones, these super expensive ones, a run for their money, you know. Honestly, some of my most die-hard, you know, top 10 for life type fragrances or top sexy ones happen to be designer fragrances, you guys. Seriously, it's not about the amount of money you pay for a fragrance, it's about the actual scent, the fragrance composition. That's what it comes down to. And of course the quality of the ingredients. But I tell you what, the quality doesn't cost niche prices. I'm here to tell you, my friend. You know, sometimes we pay way too much for niche fragrances. But anyway, these are Lancome, La Nuit Tresor, and La Nuit Tresor à la Folie. Oh my gosh, you guys. Oh. This fragrance, so sexy. It's a sexiness in a bottle. Must have for your fragrance collection. This is a nightlife fragrance, you guys. Whether I mean by nightlife, I don't mean just partying. This is a beautiful nighttime date fragrance. This is a fragrance you can wear out partying, like when you're going out, whether you're going to a club or I don't know, concert, whatever have you. Like, it's a nightlife type fragrance, you guys. Perfect for that purpose. That's what I wear this for. The fragrance composition in this fragrance is super complex, you guys. I mean, this has like a long train of base notes. I can't even remember all of them. There are a ton of them. I know there's coffee in this, which gives it that beautiful dark touch. I really like that about this particular one. It opens with beautiful fresh citruses like tangerine, bergamot. There's a very sexy pear note in the opening, which is perfect. And this one has passion fruit. There's rose in here, I believe vanilla. Okay, and in the base, you guys, the base is the craziest one. There's praline, there's like caramel, there's patchouli, there's vanilla, which is super sweet. So this is a very gourmand fragrance, you guys. Very sexy gourmand, very sweet, sexy gourmand. And then there's coumarin, there's licorice, there's a whole bunch of like fragrance notes in the base, you guys. Very, very, very sexy. It all adds up to a very sexy composition. Again, really hard to pick which one I like more. I love them both so much. Very slight, like the difference is like a hair of a difference. Very slight difference, you guys. I tell you why I lean the one I'm gonna pick. So this one, you guys, is a vanilla centric one. So this has the DNA of the original and some of the notes of the original. But the difference here really is that humongous dose of vanilla. This has like double doses of vanilla. Very much a vanilla centric fragrance. That's the most dominant accord. Something very gorgeous about this vanilla in here is very addictive, and it retains that sexiness of the DNA here in the original. But added to that is a humongous dose of vanilla, which is like the same thing with more vanilla. This one doesn't have coffee, however, so it's not as dark as the original. The huge dose of vanilla comes from the fact that this has all vanilla and vanilla-esque fragrance notes. There's vanilla, and there's benzoin, and there's tonka bean. Guys, like tonka bean smells like vanilla, like a deeper version of vanilla. There's benzoin that is kind of a brighter vanilla, you know, like a resinous vanilla. And then there's vanilla in the base in this fragrance, which is why this is so vanilla centric. And in the base of this fragrance, there is ambroxan, you guys, which makes it a little lighter than the original. The original is a little bit more dense, in my opinion. This one is a little bit more light because of the ambroxan in the base. And this also has, of course, woody notes. There is, of course, you know, patchouli and everything for lasting power. By the way, these two, beast mode and last forever. In the opening of this, you get like that beautiful pink pepper note, you guys, which, you know, as we know, apparently invokes feelings of falling in love for the first time. It's very bright, kind of spicy note. And then there's red currant, which also is a juicy note, like black currant, not as much. But there's, you know, like I said, the pear note, which is in the original as well. The pear note is very sexy, very feminine. And in the middle, you don't just get rose, but you get some powdery flowers like violet, and then there's jasmine, and then there's peony. So yeah, there are more florals in here. So it's a vanilla centric one with more floral notes. I think this one is just as sexy, if not slightly more, honestly. So obviously, you guys, in this one, very slightly though. Now remember, if you twisted my arms, if I really had to pick, I would pick La Nuit Tresor à la Folie. Okay guys, last but not least, I have a fragrance here in my hand. I actually don't have the original, because I didn't like it enough to own it. But I know very well what it smells like because I've gotten my nose on it so many different times. And I made the decision, in fact, in Sephora, I sniffed both of them and I picked this one. The original wasn't my favorite, so here you go. I gave it away already, but I will tell you what it is and why I'm saying what I'm saying. This is Yves Saint Laurent Libre and Libre Intense. Now, this is the Intense, the intense version. This one has a lot more vanilla. They heightened the vanilla in this fragrance. The original, you guys, as you know, there's lavender in this fragrance. The original, I smelled it. It's a little bit too lavender centric. You can smell the lavender a lot more in that one. As you guys know, lavender is traditionally a masculine fragrance note, which I don't think you need to label them, you guys. However, it leans more, I guess, herbally from the lavender, and it's not as feminine in my opinion, the original. However, this one, they took it and they heightened the fragrance and added a huge dose of vanilla, which made this just as beautiful with those beautiful notes in Libre, only with that vanilla sweetness. It really took the fragrance to the place I wanted it to be. The original was lacking that, you know, that element, the beautiful feminine element that this one has. So the original has lavender in the top and in the middle, and then in the top you get like black currants. There's petitgrain, which is like a green type of note, and then there's mandarin orange. Then in the middle you get that lavender again, and then there are like white floral notes like jasmine, orange blossom. In the base you get vanilla, but not a very big dose of vanilla. There is woody notes, there's musk and ambergris. There's not much of a difference between these two, other than the fact that this has heightened amount of vanilla. Like this pretty much has the same fragrance composition as the original that I just named, you know, same like lavender top and middle, and the other notes I named. There's ambergris also in this one in the base, which I like the fact that they didn't take out the ambergris from the original, you know, when they did the flanker. So they kept that beautiful sort of refreshing vibes in this fragrance, but they just made it a little bit more feminine by adding like vanilla orchid to the middle, and then there's a bigger dose of vanilla in the base, which I think really is what pushed this fragrance past that line that I wanted it to be, you know. So this one's more feminine. Simply for that reason, I picked this flanker, YSL Libre Intense. So you guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I sure had so much fun comparing the firsts and the flankers. So I hope it helps you guys out there trying to buy these fragrances, deciding which one out of the first and the flankers that came out to buy. So I'm gonna continue to do these kinds of videos, you guys. I'm gonna continue to, you know, as I buy more fragrances, as I have more first and flankers, I will be comparing them to help you guys out. I hope this is helpful because I wish I had a video like this to watch you guys when I was deciding to buy these, you know, originals and flankers. Obviously I ended up buying all of them because I couldn't decide, and I actually am happy that I love them all, but of course I love some more than the other. You know, I like the first flanker better, so that's what I wanted to show you guys. So this is a fun video, you guys. I really think it's something original, something new, something refreshing. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, ring that notification bell so YouTube will notify you every time I upload. I will see you guys in my next video.